1992 saw the release of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Genesis. The game was met with critical acclaim from consumers and reviewers alike, and being a worthy successor to the successful Sonic the Hedgehog, released all the way back on June 23rd, 1991, being released a year prior. If you watched my video on Sonic 2, you know that I think it's a fantastic platformer and some of the best the 16-bit era has to offer. Selling over 6 million copies, being the best-selling game on the Sega Genesis. Looking solely in numbers at the Sonic franchise is even matching numbers to those of the Mario franchise itself. During the development of Sonic 3 would lead to delay after delay, originally having a 1993 release being pushed back to an early 1994, with only spin-offs being released at the time where Sonic 3 was supposed to be released. But since they couldn't finish the entire game, the game had to be split into two different games, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, with combining the two giving you Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. But for this video I'll be referring to it as Sonic 3, as it is a mouthful to refer to as. Do I even need to say anything, dog? This is literally one of the best 2D platformers I have ever played. This ain't no exaggeration either. I have played so much 2D platformers in my life. So, why don't we go through this game zone by zone and see what I like about it. The game boots you up in Angel Island Act 1, as you gotta go and you meet this random red echidna who takes all the emeralds from you. Now, I didn't mention this in my Sonic 2 video, but you need all the Chaos Emeralds to get the best ending from the special stages. And the thing is, it doesn't show you where you actually get it because the special stages in Sonic 2 aren't exactly the greatest, it's mostly trial and error. But in this game, it shows what you get if you get all the Chaos Emeralds. You get Supersonic, a form that basically breaks the entire game, or at least broke Sonic 2. But in Sonic 3, when you choose your save file, and from the first couple of seconds, you are shown what you can get if you get all those emeralds. As you go through Angel Island, you see it slowly burn up as Robotnik takes over the island. As you fight Robotnik in this weird flaming thing, I don't even know what to call it, you go end up breaking out the capsule and Knuckles finds you again. Oh yeah, that's this Red Echidna's name. I'm gonna be calling him Knuckles because I don't want to call him Red Echidna, so let's just call him Knuckles. He shows up and does a bad thing, like, yeah, I hate this dude, even though I'd never met him before. This dude is teaming up with Robotnik because Robotnik tricked him into thinking that he stole the emeralds or something like that. So he's like, I hate this Sonic guy anyway, even though I never knew him or personally know him. I'm just gonna do mob mentality and hate on him. And you end up taken to one of the best water levels in gaming. This ain't even an exaggeration. Yes, I'm going to be referring to it as Hydrocity, shut up. It's one of the best water levels because it emphasizes both on speed and exploration, which is this game's biggest strong suits. The game rewards you for exploration in each zone with these massive landmarks that shows how big this island really is. And the more you explore, you get rewarded. Not just with rings, not just with lives, but with the elemental shields. Probably one of the best parts of the 2D Sonic franchise. Not only do these shields give you immunity to certain obstacles, such as Fire Shield giving you fire immunity, Electric Shield giving you the rare electric immunity, and the Water Shield, or the Bubble Shield, giving you the ability to breathe underwater. Such as the Fire Shield giving you a little boost when you tap the jump button again, the Electric Shield giving you a double jump, and the Bubble Shield giving you an extra bounce. And these things can help you out to traverse each level so you can explore and grab. You can find and grab those special stage rings and get all those Chaos Emeralds. Which, by the way, I might as well bring up the special stages. These special stages are actually pretty fun. I hated them as a child, but I think now I know what these special stages are. The delay helps it out so much, and it's honestly one of the best in the series. And getting every single Chaos Emerald is just as rewarding. So as you finish Hydrosity Zone, you end up getting swissed all the way out of from a geyser into Marble Garden Zone. And the zone's okay. It has one of the most special stage rings, at least in terms of the Sonic 3 half of the game. I think my main problem with this stage is that, well, it has so much spike obstacles, but this is where the insta-shield comes in and helps out so much. As if you press the A button, you get a couple of frames of invincibility. These couple of frames of invincibility can help you out so much that it can get you out of certain dire situations. As you get whisked away and fly down all the way to the Carnival Night. The Carnival Night being... okay, I don't know what to say, but this is one of my favorite levels just to play through in Sonic 3, as it brings you in with this fantastical clown-like carnival music and gets you introduced to these weird things that spiral you down. And it's kind of cool and exhilarating. This game rewards you with so much speed and exhilaration that you can keep it up with it, along with some fantastic platforming segments. There's no segments in terms of platforming and speed. They're both put together in this amalgamation, which is why when you see pictures of the zones in their entirety, it shows how massive they are. Ice Cap Zone, it's a snow level. Yeah, that's about it. Launch Base Zone, the final level of this Sonic 3 half. Probably the hardest zone in the game, or at least one of the hardest, as there's a lot more battening placements with a bunch of spikes. There's also a bunch of stuff that can crush you easily, and so much more, along with Act 2 being water-filled. And honestly, the water part is still exhilarating to play through, and you end up fighting probably one of my favorite bosses in the entire series, but I'll get back to that later. You get the Death Egg to crash all the way down onto Angel Island, where it takes you to Mushroom Valley Zone, or Mushroom Hill. This is where you get something special introduced to you. The Super Emeralds. It gives you access to some of the hardest levels that Blue Sphere can push your limits to. Getting a perfect on this is near impossible for me, mainly due to the fact of the way that these are designed. And getting all of these Super Emeralds is worth it in the end, because you end up unlocking one of the best things in the Sonic franchise. Hypersonic. Hypersonic is so exhilarating and fun to control, along with giving you basically the Fire Shield ability, just to give you this big massive boost. But you can do it in any direction, up, down, left, and right. But if you give it yourself with the, not only you're immune to drowning, but if you get yourself the Lightning Shield, you basically become a massive ring magnet and absorb every ring around you. Luckily, getting all those Super Emeralds is kinda easy, as Mushroom Hill has the most amount in the entire game. End up going all the way to Flying Battery Zone. Another personal favorite of mine. Mainly there's a lot of stop and go platforming. I feel this is the part where the next zone kind of falls apart. Sandopolis Zone is a not very good zone, mainly due to the one part, Act 2. Act 1 is a very fun level, to say the least, but there's some certain moments that don't feel quite right. It's until you reach Act 2 being a very tedious level. The reason why I call it a tedious level is because there's ghosts all over the place. You have to push this block here, then you have to get on this switch lever thing right here. You just have to worry about these ghosts chasing you all the time, and it's really annoying. But once you get past that, you get to Lava Reef Zone. Very forgettable zone, but with some bumping music, but you get to Act 2. It's an okay zone, but which the Flame Shield becomes a massive godsend throughout the entirety of Lava Reef. Finally, you get to Hidden Palace Zone, which is just a mini zone where you fight Knuckles and you teleport all the way up to Sky Sanctuary. You end up playing this one act level, and if you're playing as Knuckles, you get introduced to this fight with a random robot. I don't know, Mecha Sonic. He's not really that intimidating, as he repeats the Sonic 1 boss fights in Sonic's route. And with Knuckles' route, you just gotta do a one-on-one fight with him, and he's not that hard. But as you get out of Sky Sanctuary, you go all the way to the Death Egg Zone, the final zone of the game, as you go through the final two acts, being Act 2 being really exhilarating and fun to play around, it's Act 2 where it kind of falls apart, mainly with the anti-gravity gimmick. And also, if you don't have the electric shield or hypersonic, it's going to be very difficult to go through, as there's so much electricity that can easily hurt you. It was in Act 1, but it wasn't as apparent as it was in Act 2. As you face off one of the biggest and most threatening bosses in Sonic history, the Death Egg robot. I'll get to the bosses in a different segment, as I want to talk about that and give that their own segment. But in this part, as you face off this robot, you get to the Doomsday Zone, which you only get if you have Super or Hypersonic. And you defeat Robotnik one last time. And this is where the game ends. Now let's cover the actual part of the gameplay. Sonic the Hedgehog is a physics-based platformer, yada yada, you get it already. The levels complement Sonic's controls so much, and it's really, really fun to play. One of the tightest controls a 2D platformer can ever get. Each zone being so filled with goodies to get, such as the brought up elemental shields, and if you're replaying this, you can get an extra 50 rings if you have Super or Hypersonic. And the reason why I love it so much is because it's the trifecta of what every Sonic it's the trifecta of every classic Sonic game. At least the mainline ones, with Sonic 1 being a pure platformer, nothing that. Sonic 2 being a massive emphasis on speed. Sonic CD being a massive emphasis on exploration, where Sonic 3 is the trifecta and has a perfect amount of every single one. With each zone complementing this to some extent. It's just fun. It's just fun playing through this whole game. I can play this game in one sitting and have a fantastic time. It's one of those games where you just want to sit down and blast through the whole game, and it's honestly one of my favorites in the entire franchise. And what about Knuckles? So in this game, there are 3 playable characters: Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Sonic plays exactly as how he did in Sonic 2. The only difference this time is that he has new abilities, such as the Instant Shield and the already mentioned Elemental Shields. Tails being the easy mode of the game due to the fact that he has a flight ability and a swim ability, and also the fact that Tails doesn't really have a super form until Mushroom Hill Zone, which is way later in the game. But if you play as Tails, you have to be a lot more explorative so you can find those special stage rings. For Knuckles, it's meant to be the hard mode of the game, as he has the lowest jump, and is the slowest in comparison to Sonic and Tails, but he has extra routes that give you a bit more of a different challenge in comparison to Sonic and Tails' route. So now that we've gone through the gameplay, let's go through one of my favorite parts of this game, the music. Can I get a title card? Thanks, man. Do I even need to say anything? Like, I got nothing new to add. This is genuinely one of the best soundtracks, not only on the Sega Genesis, but some of the best in the Sonic franchise. No matter which zone you pick, there's an absolute banger in there. Except for this one. The thing about it is that some of the zones don't even fit their music at all. Mainly the ones I'm thinking of is Hydrocity, Marble Garden, Launch Base, Flying Battery, Lava Reef. I'm just gonna play a bunch of them right now because some of this is absolutely amazing, and it shows what the Sega Genesis is really capable of. When I said Sonic 2 shows what the Sega Genesis can do, I feel like Sonic 3 pushes it to its limits, with the amount of samples that are done, and with this soundtrack being handled by Michael Jackson's team. Yes, the rumor is true that Michael Jackson did have a part in the soundtrack of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. However, he did not have exactly direct involvement, as it was rather his team that composed most of it. And even in some of the prototype tracks that was shown off, some of them are absolute jams. Except for this one. I don't have anything new to add, it's just so good, it's really good. I just want to shout about this soundtrack, that's really what I want to do right now. While some of their music do fit the zones, some just don't. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, as if the track's a banger, what's the point? But yeah, this is just one of my favorite parts of Sonic 3. Composed by the legendary Jun Sonoe. known for having some of his best music and some of the greatest Sonic games of all time. I get this section was a lot shorter than the previous one, but I have nothing new to add. Let's talk bosses. They can be intimidating, but something that fits in line with the Sonic series. They feel like goofy creations created by the Mad Doctor, Dr. Robotnik, but can also do harm to the areas around them, with there being bosses in Act 1 and Act 2. One being a machine that Robotnik built himself, and the other Act 2 being the Mad Doctor himself. My personal favorites being Angel Island Act 2, Hydrocity Act 2, Carnival Night Act 1, Big Arms and the Final Machine, and the Doomsday Zone boss fight. I want to go over the Big Arm and Final Machine boss fight, mainly due to one separate thing, is they feel like genuine threats, as for Big Arm, you can get damaged while you're in your super form if he grabs you, and you end up losing a ton of rings, making super forms, well, kinda hard to do, even when fighting him. And the Final Machine being the big robot that you fight against before Doomsday Zone. And once you defeat it, you enter the Doomsday Zone. Now, in terms of the actual boss fight, it's pretty easy, but in terms of the context of the story, it feels like stakes are raised to the highest. You're in this big space battle fighting Eggman, and it's just a really sick fight to be in. I cannot stress enough how much I really like the music in this part. Magnum Opus in Latin means great work or masterpiece, and it's important in this video because I think Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is Sonic Team's Magnum Opus. I want you to imagine back in 1993, during the development of this game, Sega kept missing so many times, at least in comparison to their contemporaries, and Nintendo somehow beating through with this console war. Sega had knew that they had to go all out with this game. I explained this much earlier in each segment on how they managed to accomplish that. And is why the fact that they have yet to top it in terms of 2D Sonic. A Magnum Opus doesn't have to be someone's best work. It usually means it's the most important. This game is regarded as one of the best of the 2D platforming genre. It is remembered as such. And even people who don't even like Sonic can say that this game is one of the greatest, or at least is something really good. This game is not only a masterpiece, it is not only Sonic Team's best and most important work, but every time I come back to Sonic 3, something about it gets a little bit better, and it's because of these games and media I talk about, is so one day I have the chance of myself to create something even better that moves people to the video games that have shaped me into who I am today. And that's why it remains in my mind that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is not only a masterpiece, but Sonic Team's Magnum Opus. Thanks for watching, I'll see y'all in a couple weeks, and take it easy.
Ugh.